So, general thoughts of season one, and then
Yeah, I guess the best way to start is to give general thoughts on season one, and
yeah,
it was so good.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought season one was average overall, and I wish the world building was better. I wish they went more into stuff that's like kind of interesting. Like, first off, why is the New Republic so shit? And also, I would love to know more of the ins and outs of how or why the Empire is able to, like the remnants of the Empire are able to do the things that they did in season one without getting caught or drawing a lot of attention to themselves by like the Republic, you know? So those were probably my biggest issues. Oh, and also like I felt that there was a lot of rushed character development for Mando. I think especially after episode 6 where the person who literally was leading that mission had a droid operate his ship and then that group completely betrayed him. That should have like solidified his hatred of droids. He should have right after that moment he should have
right,
like, yeah, I'm totally
right.
right about
The issue should have gotten
droids.
worse
Fuck
because
him.
that droid almost killed his adoptive child.
Yeah, he literally should have been like, yeah, I'm 100% right about droids. Like fuck him. And it
Hmm.
should have taken a lot longer for him to trust Queel's IG unit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I,
which also tried to kill Baby Yoda in episode one.
in episode 1, yeah. Um I like the moments with the droid, but I was just thinking like these are good moments, but they should have happened later. Like this should have happened with more development, you know?
Hmm.
Like this could have been like a great like end of season 2 moment, you know?
True. Um, I'll just say real quick. I agree with you that I think Mando's development was done a bit fast. Though, if I had to guess, the reason why they did it the way they did, it's because at the time, they didn't know if there was going to be a season two. Um, because there's no way in hell the creators of Mando could have predicted of how well received um, this season one was. And that you see that a lot of times in TV shows too, because there's not always a guarantee that you'll get a set amount of seasons to tell your whole story. So sometimes one season's all you got to plan around. But since it did get a season two, I agree at least retroactively that Bando's development towards droids was rushed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was probably my biggest problem with his character, and I do wish Baby Yoda was a bit more like unexperienced when it came to the Force because he did a lot of pretty amazing things and he's just a baby.
I mean, if he is
Yeah.
just a baby, but he's also how many years old did they say?
50, but like
50.
I think that's like by human years. I think by his age
Yeah,
that's still
yeah,
like for Yoda creatures that's still like baby years apparently. I guess is that's how it works, I guess.
certainly. I mean, I don't know how it works because that's the one thing that's never really been explained is Yoda's species. Like, like I'm not even sure if every Yoda species is supposed to be force sensitive. Is that out of like the four I know of, both in and out of the current canon, they just happen to all be Jedi. So I don't know if they're all supposed to be force sensitive because there are some races in Star Wars that are like that, or if it just so happens that the only ones we see are force sensitive. And I don't know why we like barely see any of the race around the galaxy when we see like a healthy dose of like humans, Twi'leks, Zabraks, I don't know the explanation of why they're so scarce.
Yeah,
Because you think like if a Yoda
that
species, we don't even have a name for it, which is also part of the problem. If like you would see a lot more like Yoda species as politicians and whatnot, just for the fact that because they live so long, they'll be able to do more stuff like that than most races, just because they live nearly 1,000 years. But yeah, that's
yeah,
always been
it's
confusing for me.
just the world building all around could have used some work,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
hopefully season 2 fixes that a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like for the most part, I do agree with pretty much everything you said. I did like season one of Mandalorian, but I just thought it was okay. I feel like I'm glad that a lot of people do like this show, but I feel like people love it. People think it's more good than it actually is. And I think that just has to do with the fact that it's kind of the only decent thing that Star Wars has released in the past few years,
right.
which I think is a bit more telling about the state of the franchise in general, as opposed to the quality of Mandalorian, which is a bit sad. Uh, uh, but that being said, I still like season one, and
Yes.
I cautiously optimistic for season two.
All right then. I think we are pretty much on the same page as for season 1.
Hmm.
Uh, so, with that said, I think let's get started with season 2.
All right,
You ready
you
to
wanna?
hit play?
I'm at a 0-0.
Yep, I am too. All right, let's
Do you want to count
do
down three,
this.
two, one, and then hit play?
Yes.
Okay,
Do you want me to do it or do you want to do it?
you go ahead and do it.
Okay. Three, two, one, play.
So we got our season one recap here.
Yeah. It's gonna recap all the important things. And the other thing that I hope for this season is that there's less filler.
Yeah, that's the kind of the biggest thing I fear, because if a lot of the leaks were confirmed true, that they're introducing a lot of characters from other shows, and I hope that doesn't kill the pacing.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little more after the episodes. I want
Okay,
to talk
yeah,
about uh
right.
other characters that I looked into that are supposedly gonna show up this season. We can talk about what that can mean and how we feel about that.
Okay, because I don't know, because I've heard a lot of characters that were rumored for season two, but I don't know any of that are confirmed.
Okay, I think uh at least I think at least 3 of them are confirmed. At
Okay.
least.
God, why is Baby Yoda so damn adorable? Like holy shit, they did a great job on the Baby Yoda puppet.
Yeah, and they did a good job with making it. I I
Wait a
bought
sec.
I bought the fact that Mando would bond with Baby Yoda.
Yeah, because we all did.
It makes a lot of sense
Quick
for him though.
nitpick that I noticed: if they killed all the other Mandalorians in the clan, why did they leave the helmets? Like the helmets are made out of Beskar, right? Wouldn't you keep those? Just
Uh
extremely minor nitpick about.
or I forgot if all of them were made out of Beskar or not.
I mean, it looks like it's made out of the same metal. This little
Not
Star
sure.
Wars intro sounds more like a Spider-Man theme than it does Star Wars. Not really a complaint, just something I noticed. I have to say though, Baby Yoda's gotten some mileage out of that hover carriage.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it suck if they're just walking around, all of a sudden that thing just ran out of battery?
uh, I don't know if it does run out of battery, but I was gonna say Baby Yoda must like his little hover chair thing.
I mean, it has to be easier than him trying to keep move around on foot.
I heard some people say that they thought season 2 was gonna have like a time jump and that Baby Yoda would be like older now, and I was just like, no
Yeah,
way, no,
not unless
not a
Mando's going to be a crippled
chance.
old man. If he's
Well,
still like a toddler at the age of 50, how far do they
well,
have to go?
well, I was just thinking, there's no way because Disney wouldn't. They're gonna want to capitalize on Baby Yoda for as long as they possibly can.
True. Saying this right now, the makeup already is a lot better than season one.
Just looking at that one guy, yeah, that's
Yeah, because he
awesome.
actually looks like a Twi'lek. Because the actors they got for to wear like the Twi'lek makeup in season one looked really bad. Like I've seen fan videos with better looking Twi'leks than what we got in season one. So I'm glad they fixed that.
That's actually kind of interesting. There's like Gamorrean guards from Jabba's palace on Tatooine fighting in this thing.
Yeah, well, Gamorreans are always just kind of like the brute labor that a lot of criminal underground types like to hire because they're strong and they're stupid. So it makes sense that you see these in like these gladiator style battles.
Yeah. Only thing I would say to Mando is when you're going in for business deals like this, okay, so two things. One, either leave Baby Yoda on the ship because they've established his ship has a lockdown method so that literally no one could get in. Or two, just because like it's a normal thing is like you usually don't leave a baby alone by themselves in your vehicle. So
Yeah,
if that's like the methodology that Mando's using, at least close his like uh his capsule thing so that no one can see him, you know? Just
yeah.
it's a safer for him.
It's just because 'cause they fixed the whole tracker issue by the end of season one, right? But I don't think that changed the fact that Baby Yoda's bounty is still really freaking high.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure the fob thing's no longer an issue for him. But yeah, there's still probably really high profile and a lot of people looking for him. That's something that I actually appreciate. You finally figured out to aim for his neck or for a
The
part of him
squishy
that's
part
not,
instead of the shiny metallic part that can
yeah,
reflect
a
pretty much
part of him
anything
that's
that's not a
not,
lightsaber.
yeah, a part of him that isn't covered up by his armor.
Because that was like a thing about season one. Like as soon as he got the full Beskar armor, he was virtually invincible. It's like the almost kind of like the inverse issue of the lightsaber. It's like how can he be defeated if everyone seems to keep hitting the part that's indestructible?
Oh shit.
If Baby Yoda closes the hatch, that's funny.
I like that like weapon of his, how he can just,
The sparrow or whatever it's called.
yeah. See that guy picked him up with like full uh
Ow! Stop
Beskar
that!
armor. It's like how did you pick him up? He's wearing full Beskar armor.
I mean, I don't know how heavy Beskar is supposed to be.
I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure.
supposed to be
That's
like extremely heavy, just like
okay.
just like normal armor is. Like in
Yeah, but you got stuff like titanium that's like durable but still really light, at least as far as metal goes. So
well his armor's bulletproof, so it has to be heavy. Like you can,
I mean, I think it more depends on the composite of the type of metal, as like it's as opposed to how thick it is. I think that's why Beskar specifically is so wanted, not just because it's a real durable metal, but because its properties can reflect blaster bolts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I still think you shouldn't be able to pick him up like that because it's super heavy.
Hmm. Fair enough.
Uh,
I mean, he's a full-grown human male that's armed to the teeth with weapons, so he would be
yeah.
very heavy.
Yeah. That being said, that fight scene was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you can already tell that season two has got a lot more budget than season one did
Yeah.
because they're able to do a lot more stuff, and
that
makeup and whatnot looks
the
better.
action and the cinematography of the fight scene was definitely better, and
Hmm.
seems like he's going to Tatooine. Uh, I wonder who the Mandalorian is gonna be that he finds on Tatooine.
He's looking for other Mandos, right? Because he's trying to rebuild the clan.
Well, no, he's looking. He said he's looking for other Mandalorians to help guide him to find Baby Yoda's home. He said, like, if
Oh, is that?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
he said if I can find other Mandalorians, they can help guide me and give me the knowledge I need to find this guy's home planet. So,
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure why other Mandos would know of Baby Yoda's home planet, but
well,
whatever.
I think that's reasonable because, like, the his other people have like would have like perhaps archives of other planets of where like species live, especially on Mandalore, like if he goes there this season.
How the hell would they do that? Like, if it's the same Mandalore from Clone Wars, because they're very surprised on how they do a set like that. At least now without using a whole bunch of CG.
Well, yeah, they'd probably use a lot of CG.
Yeah. Have to say, I was kind of surprised that they brought this character back. I thought she was just going to be for that one episode.
Yeah. I'm okay though with the idea that he thinks if he finds other Mandalorians, they can help him find the knowledge to get this guy back to his planet. Because I mean, what else would he do? I think because
I mean, like, who else could he
obviously
trust,
the
right?
yeah, not only who else can he trust, but also like he wouldn't go to like the Republic or to the Jedi. Like,
Right.
no
Well, the
way.
Jedi are still mostly dead at
Well,
this point.
Luke's alive now and like build
Yeah, I mean,
the
Luke's
Jedi
around, but it's
Order,
only been
but
like what 5 years after Return of the Jedi. It's gonna take a while for the Order itself to be rebuilt.
right, but he's rebuilding it like right now.
Well,
So,
at least until Kylo fucks everything up.
well, yeah.
Thank you, sequel trilogy, for ruining my favorite characters in all of fiction. No, I'm not bitter.
Yeah, you're totally not bitter.
This R2 unit has a bad motivator.
All I will say is this uh dialogue from her so far at least is a bit iffy. It's like here's where the main parts of Tatooine are, exposition. It's like could
I mean,
at least try to make it sound a little more natural and not completely forced.
fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you can make exposition sound natural, like
I like how Baby Yoda's ears are flapping like a dog sticking his head out of a car window.
he's just fascinated with the world around him.
I gotta say, by the time Baby Yoda does eventually get older, he'd probably be so desensitized from like all the violence of the galaxy from hanging with Mando for God knows how long.
Because he's hanging with Mando his whole life, yeah.
Yeah. Like, have you seen my father face?
He's just not phased by some kind of violent action or whatever. And they're just like, how are you not scared of this? And he's just like, do you know who my dad is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I'm still really surprised at how good the set work is.
I do appreciate the fact that they are trying to be more practical with the sets and props for this show than
Yeah,
trying
I
to
mean,
just CG the crap out of everything.
yeah, which is the problem with the era.
And the
Lucas
sequels.
went way too heavy. Yeah, but
Uh,
at least the sequels have the benefit of having a lot better CG.
yeah,
But yes, it's still a
but
problem.
honestly, I find the practical effects of the prequels more impressive than in the
What few
sequels.
practical effects there are.
Yeah, with what few practical effects there were, I found them to be more impressive than anything in the sequels.
Mhm.
In terms of
Probably,
sets, of course, I mean.
probably because the prequels did a better job of replicating the art style of Star Wars than
Well,
the
no,
sequels did.
they didn't replicate. That's the thing. They had their own sort of art style.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the weird thing. Like the Clone Wars era stuff is visually distinct from the original trilogy stuff, but it still feels like Star Wars. And I have
Right.
no clue how George Lucas did
Whereas
that.
whereas with the sequels, they just
They leaned
tried
too
to.
hard into things looking like the original trilogy, and thus it lacked a lot of visual distinction.
Oh, speaking of looking like the originals, there he is. There's the guy.
The armor has seen better days, though. That does not look
Yeah.
like it fits him at all.
Yeah.
Like, it makes his head look
That's
small.
I was actually, yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely not the guy. That's not Boba Fett, but that is definitely his armor.
Which, you know, okay, so I have to say, though, whoever, well, I'm going to say right now, whoever got that armor out of the Sarlacc, I hope got their money's worth, because holy shit, that could
Yeah, I
not have
was
been
gonna
easy.
say like, oh, yep, he took it off. That's definitely not Boba
Yeah,
Fett.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Does
Some
Boba
other
know
guy.
about the whole uh don't take off your helmet rule?
I mean, he never did in the OT, so I assume he doesn't take it off in front of other people.
Well, he probably doesn't want to take off his helmet so he wouldn't be like accused as like a stormtrooper or something. Because he's a clone.
That could actually be a cool dynamic, maybe, if Mando. I mean, not Mando, sorry, if Boba Fett runs into Mando, but Boba doesn't follow the, like, Mandalorian code or whatever, and Mando
Right.
kind of hates him for that
Right.
or
Because that
something.
that's kind of the thing about Boba Fett. Like he's obviously the blood of a Mandalorian because he's the clone of Jango Fett. He has the armor or had the armor, I guess. He had this and he had the training, but he was never really indoctrinated into the Mandalorian culture and their traditions. He's always just kind of been on its own ever since his dad died. So
The armor should still be rightfully Boba's, though.
true. Like I'm not arguing that. I'm
Even
just
though
saying
he's not
that
like technically a Mandalorian, you know.
he's a Mandalorian in all but his belief system. I mean, to be fair, it's not like Boba had a whole bunch of character in the movies, anyways. But it's just from what we know happened in the movies. There's no way he could know about all the traditions and whatnot just by the fact that his father died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like a lot of the Sergio Leone like stand down kind of shots that this show has. They did that a lot in season one.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Star Wars has always had kind of some Western cowboy inspirations, but Mandalorian leans really hard in that area, which kind of
Mm-hmm.
makes it unique from other Star Wars stuff.
Which is nice for film nerds like me because a lot of people don't notice that kind of thing.
Yeah. Even who people don't know about where those films come from specifically, everyone, at least in the U.S. here, knows about the cowboy shot of the camera zooming in on the holster on the side of the leg. That's a pretty iconic shot that people
Yeah.
know of.
But there's other ones that are not as iconic that they've used before.
What the hell is that?
I think this is that
Is that a Dune worm?
that that's weird because have creatures like this always existed on Tatooine?
I mean, there's some pretty freaky creatures on Tatooine, but I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Oh fuck!
How is it? Whoa.
Sleeper has awoken.
Okay.
I feel like we need a counter in the bottom right corner of every time Baby Yoda does something adorable. So did that guy on the right say who his name was?
Um. He did. I remember seeing his name. I don't remember what it was though.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a pod racer engine.
Yeah, that is a piece of a pod racer, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a cool callback. I'm glad the show isn't afraid to have callbacks to prequel era stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Because
too.
like the one thing that kind of drove me crazy about the sequel trilogy of how deathly afraid they were of bringing up anything prequel related,
Yeah.
which is just kind of really weird. They're watching the Death Star blow up. I mean,
It's like,
now that I mean,
yay,
I don't
the
know how
Empire's fallen.
I don't know how the hell they got that footage,
Yeah,
but
actually, that's a good point. How were they?
but whatever.
Was someone there broadcasting it?
Admiral
Like,
Akbar was streaming the Death Star invasion. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Akbar. Today we're going to prank the hell out of the Death Star Mark II.
I'll accept it, I guess. That is kind of ridiculous, though. But
I mean, maybe it's a recreation, but whatever.
yeah, maybe. And that does make sense. Like they invaders and bounty hunters with the Empire gone, they would start like taking over shit.
Yeah. Now,
That
now
that makes sense
there's a
to me.
huge power vacuum. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
That kind of what happens when a large-scale government loses their central leaders overnight.
Not just the central leaders, but the majority of their whole like government.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Papa Palpatine died, supposedly. Vader's dead. A lot of admirals probably died during the battle too. So I guess by this point it wouldn't be clear who would be in charge of
at
the
at
Empire.
this point, most of the soldiers are gone.
Yeah. Pretty, pretty, shiny, shiny. I like all the different R2 units. Well, they're not all R2 units, but I guess it's the Astromechs.
Oh wow, that's convenient.
Holy shit, those Jawas worked their ass off to get that armor.
That's so convenient. that
Yeah, I guess so.
the 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 Jawas who somehow dug Boba Fett's armor out of a Sarlacc
Went
pit.
into the
Went
Sarlacc, found the
they
armor, and then
somehow went
crawled
into
out.
the Sarlacc, found the armor, came out with all of it, and then they just so happened to run into this random fucker who buys it off of them.
Those Jawas, man, say what you will about them, but they are dedicated to their craft. I kind of just want like a spin-off episode of just how the hell those Jawas got that armor.
That would be, I would be very interested to see how they do that.
Houdini!
Why are you aiming it at his chest? Why are you not aiming it at his belly, his arm? Look at all that is. It would be so easy to shoot him. Look at that's like what 10 times worse than the Mando stuff. There's so much more uncovered by the armor. Like the back of his head and his neck. Like look at that. That's wide open.
I mean, to be fair, trying to make a precise shot in the middle of a firefight is more in a firefight. It would be more difficult than you would think, because with all the adrenaline going on and your hand shaking, you know, it's a lot harder than you think it'd be. Plus, that also assumes that everyone knows about Beskar armor, which may very well not be the case. It's a big galaxy
Uh,
after all, and there's not exactly
yeah,
like a core educational system for the Outer Rim.
yeah. I guess. I mean, I guess I could buy some people not knowing what Beskar is.
I mean, remember, Graham, there's a good part of the galaxy that doesn't even know what the Force is, so despite it being such a big
Which
part of
is
the
a
universe.
huge problem on its own, but you know.
I mean, it makes sense if, like, I mean, it's like if you're like the average moisture farmer on some backwater planet in the Outer Rim who may or may not even see a Jedi once in their whole life, why would you know anything about the Force? So, yeah, I think it just depends where you are in the galaxy.
Yeah, I don't know.
The CGI on that lizard dog thing is really good. I gotta say, man, whoever did the costume design for this is really earned their paycheck because those costumes look straight from Episode 4,
Yeah.
the
I
Sand People costumes.
I also think it's kind of cool that he knows how to speak to sand people and he can actually speak their native language.
Yeah, I
That's
mean there are a
cool.
lot of similarities between Mandalorian and Sand People culture, and I guess being a bounty hunter tend to do a lot of work on Tatooine. It makes enough sense that he would learn to communicate with them. I mean, we saw him doing that in season 1, so it's this comes out of nowhere. Though I had this, so if Mando wasn't already familiar with the Tuskens, they'd be trying to kill him right now. They'd be trying to kill each other. Because no way in hell would Tuskens be this friendly normally.
Well, probably because no one can speak with them and Mando can, so
Well, there's just a lot of issues between, well, when it comes to, like, the Tuscans and the settlers and whatnot on Tatooine, there's a big like cowboys and Indian situation. Like they've been living on this planet for God knows how long. Then all of a sudden, these random people start showing up and building their houses here. And they're like, "What the hell? We were here first." And they're like, "Well, sorry, we're here to stay." So there tends to be a lot of fighting between Tuscans and other people, which like I'm assuming that you haven't read the Kenobi novel, but there's a lot of which was the story of what Obi-Wan did when he first arrived on Tatooine, and that story goes into a lot of the relationship between the settlers of Tatooine and the Tusken Raiders, which is if that's something you're interested in. I would recommend reading that.
Yeah, I mean, expanded material has always been kind of a iffy thing to me. Like, I'm interested in some of it. In the rest of it, I'm just kind of like,
I mean, sadly, there's a lot less reason to get into the older stuff now because it's non-canon for the most part. So, which is extremely frustrating for me because I've grown up with that canon for all my life. So, that's always a frustration when it comes to all the new stuff. The fact that they just kind of threw away the old without any real good reason. But it's still good stuff, so I would recommend it anyways. And
I,
plus, it stars Ben Kenobi, so
yeah,
if you're a Kenobi fan, the story is about him.
they might be doing a show for Kenobi.
Yeah, that's been circulation for years now, but I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of Star Wars fans would want a Kenobi series, and I know that
Oh, that would sell like hotcakes.
what's the name of the actor again? It's
Ewan McGregor.
yeah, Ewan McGregor said he was all for it.
Yep.
So like the pieces are there. I
I'm
never
pretty
heard
sure they
anything
are gonna
official
do
about
it.
production. I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. I'm just not sure. I just
Yeah.
don't think they've started production yet.
Um. Yeah, they. I think they've written first drafts of like the scripts for each episode, but yeah, they just haven't started production on it yet.
Okay.
And I could see that they're. Anyways, I was thinking
We're
about
gonna
that
need a bigger boat.
since the scene that it happened. It seems like they're doing the trope of basically the two warring factions, like the people of this city and the Tusken Raiders, like they don't get along, so they're gonna have to put aside their differences and team up to fight this thing, and then by the end of it, they're gonna be all like they're gonna be at peace with each other by the end of it.
I wasn't sure.
Not
I
necessarily
wasn't sure about that.
friends, like well,
I mean,
they
that's the
even said that
trope, but
was
I
part
wouldn't say
of
they do.
the they said that was part of the deal. Like they said, um,
Like a
you,
truce.
yeah, like if you help us beat this thing, as long as your people keep the peace, we won't attack you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, what they said that thing was a crate dragon, right?
Yeah,
I mean, see, flexing my nerd knowledge here. Like next to a Sarlacc, the Krayt Dragon is like one of the most deadly predators on Tatooine. I mean, it's not like a literal dragon where it breathes fire, but it is like a giant lizard monster that's really good at eating people. So it would take quite a few people to kill it.
I just kind of been wondering why that thing doesn't just eat up the entire fucking planet. Like, go to whatever village you want to, like the one that they're at, just eat the whole fucking thing. Like, if they supposedly are really hard to kill and they're really big and they can eat whatever they want, why don't they just eat the whole village.
I don't know why, but now I'm picturing like, could you imagine if like one of those things popped up in the middle of a pod race?
Oh, jeez.
Like episode one would have ended very differently
That
if
would be
Anakin got swallowed up by a great
the
dragon.
the OT and the entire story is destroyed by a great dragon.
We fucked the timeline. We fucked the timeline. Oh yeah, it is a great dragon. I mean, it looks. I mean, it's not the same kind of great dragon as an old canon. They're definitely leaning more into like the Dune worm esque more of a monster instead of
It
back when it
doesn't
was
really
basically
look.
just a.
I mean, maybe in terms of a monster, sure, but like it doesn't really look like the Dune worm. Like it does. The Dune worm doesn't have a face or a mouth. Like the Dune worm is just.
Yeah, but it's still like a cylindrical thing. Like it has no arms or legs, which in the old lore, great dragons did have
Well,
claws and whatnot.
you do know the Dune worm is just like one big thing with like
Yeah,
teeth, right?
yeah, I know. Yeah, yes, yes, I saw the trailer. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, but they're definitely leaning more towards that than say like a dinosaur, for example, which is kind of what the Krayt Dragon was in the old lore.
Yeah. We must put aside our differences and band together.
So we don't get fucking eaten by a giant lizard monster.
Which I don't know why the lizard monster doesn't just do that anyways, but whatever.
I mean, I'm sure like there's like a thing about large predators avoiding highly populated areas. At least, if nothing else, out of like a survival instinct.
But
You know.
I thought they said they were like supposedly like unkillable.
Well, nothing's unkillable,
Well, I
but
guess no, never mind. Because he did say he could kill the thing with his razor crest, but then his friend said, "Well, if you do that, it'll hear the vibrations like in the air, and so it'll stay under
it'll
control."
hear them coming.
So I guess yeah, you can't just go up
Yeah.
to
Like, have you ever seen a Tremors, Grant?
yes,
That's a similar thing where it's a worm-like monster that could sense vibrations in the earth, so they had to be careful on how much noise they made.
yes, yeah. That makes a lot more sense now. Yeah.
At
And
least there's an
yes, I
explanation.
have seen Tremors.
Okay. Don't fucking drop that.
You'll kill us all.
He drops the canister and it shows it cuts to the
It
Alderaan
blows up and
explosion.
kills everyone.
I mean, to be fair, like the galaxy probably would be better off without Tatooine, but
Baby Yoda's dead, and now the whole show is done.
yeah, but also all the Hutts are probably dead. Well, not all the Hutts, but like
I don't
I don't
think
know.
those things would blow
Like
up the
Tat,
whole planet.
I know. I'm just being funny, thinking, what if Tatooine did blow up, the galaxy would probably be better off for it. To be honest.
Well, no, the Huts are dead at this point. Remember, this is.
Well, a Hutt's dead, but there are multiple Hutt families within lore. They're not all on Tatooine.
But isn't Jabba like the head one, and he's.
Uh, he was until Leia killed him.
Well, yeah, that's
But that
what I
doesn't mean
mean.
there wouldn't be other Hutts that go and take his power.
I thought Tatooine has always been established as like a secluded backwater planet.
Yeah, but it's a backwater planet with a lot of connections to the
Because,
criminal underground. That's what I'm getting at.
well, I thought like in the movies the planet shows up all the freaking time because nostalgia factor, but like in canon I've heard it's like not common.
Uh, it's not common in general, but it's common for a lot of shady people. is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I thought it
Like
was.
the people like most of the galaxy wouldn't really go anywhere near Tatooine, but the people who do go there, you know, wretched hive the scum and villainy and all that.
Oh, well, yeah, sure.
That's what I meant by if Tatooine did blow up, the galaxy would probably be better for it.
Moss Eisley Spaceport. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Which isn't exactly true. I can name a couple other planets that have a lot more scum and villainy than Mos Eisley, but whatever. Maybe he just meant on Tatooine or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it's still a good line, but in hindsight, that line's not exactly true.
Luke turns to Ben. It's just like, actually, Master, I can think of many other places that have more wretched hives
And
of
then
scum and villainy.
and then Ben slaps him on the face. Boy,
He's
shut the
like,
fuck
boy,
up.
shut your mouth. I said it, so it's true. Shut your mouth.
I, I've I've dealt enough shit in my life from the Skywalkers. I don't need you.
Your father
I
was
put up with your
enough. Oh wait,
father's
sorry.
shit, but I'm not putting up with your shit.
Oh wait, sorry. I wasn't supposed to tell you about that.
Have you ever played a KOTOR 1, Grant?
I've played like little bits of it. I've never actually played the story. I just kind of wandered around and did my own thing.
Okay. Well, there is a Tatooine is in the game, and if you follow a certain quest line, there is a point where you do have to fight a crate dragon in a cave, and to get around the boss fight, you can actually get a guy to put a special bomb underneath the sand and blow it up that way. So
That's cool.
I'm not saying this is a reference to KOTOR Run, but if it is, it's a really good one
That would be cool.
because this scene is very similar to how that happened in the game.
Oh, it's building up the IMAX ratio.
I know I already said it kind of looked like a worm, but honestly, from that shot, it kind of looks like a shark, like a like a
Those
land shark or
visual
something.
effects are really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that this is definitely a step up from season 1. I mean, season 1 still had decent CG effects, but that looks like movie quality.
They're flexing the Disney money for sure.
Well, now that they don't have to worry about getting a small country's worth of resources to CGI up the sequel movies, they can probably focus more on the Mandalorian. Are those fucking flintlocks? Where the hell did they get those crossbows at? I don't know. I just don't think the Sand People are the type of people that would strike me as just hanging around.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like, where the hell did they carry those?
How did they carry those with their tribe?
Hmm.
Actually, no, it may have come from the village.
Okay, fair enough.
That actually, yeah, it might have.
You gross. I mean, it's not very Star Warsy, but it's whatever.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Well, it hasn't bled yet, so I think that's a problem.
Well, it was able to breathe that stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think that was blood. That looked more like acid or something.
I was just trying to do a Predator reference. Come on.
And you failed.
Shut up. That was a cool shot.
You slimed me, Ray.
It strikes me as also a little rushed that Mando's jetpack just it feels like they're already connected and he can just fly it perfectly because they established in season 1 that he
That he
needs to like
just got one.
yeah, like they said to Mando like it requires like time with your jetpack before you can like use it perfectly because it's almost sort of like a relationship between the man and the jetpack in a way.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Established that and he just got it, but he's like somehow kind of he seems pretty perfect at it already.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
That's a little
I mean,
weird to me.
I don't know how common jetpacks are in the Star Wars universe, or how or like the difficulty of using such technology, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, at least if I were to have to use a jetpack, I know it would take time for me to get used to it. So,
Yeah.
but then again, I'm not a badass Mandalorian
Well,
warrior, so who
they
knows?
established that for Mandalorians, like it takes time.
Yeah,
Like that's that was
it's all a matter of
the point of
training.
it.
Yeah,
Like they literally said like yeah, it'll take time before you can fly it well, you know? Oh.
that's the second time that's happened to that jetpack.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That's basically how Boba died,
Bubba needs to fix his jetpack.
or just get a
Right.
better one.
And jetpack now. Now. What
And roll credits.
why didn't he just jetpack away and blow the
Yeah, why didn't he just do that?
well, so they're gonna do that
Fuck.
trope. They're gonna do that trope as well. It's like you think the good guy was eaten by the big monster thing, and he's gonna like cut his way out or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, we know he's not dead because it's only episode 1, so.
Yeah. the the day he dies is the day the show ends. So, I mean, this isn't Game of Thrones. Like, you know, they're not gonna.
You're right, this is actually a good show.
Well, Game of Thrones used to be a good. Jeez, that cattle prod
50% is still an
that
F.
that that cattle prod should not have. That was way too much electricity.
Yeah.
That looked like the cattle prod was producing force lightning or some shit.
Yeah, they
That's
probably should. I think the animator
they
should have went better
they
on that a little bit.
yeah they that's a stretch. There's no way that would have worked.
Yeah. Whatever, it looked cool at least.
But yeah, that's why I was thinking. It's like just wait until he opens his mouth really wide, and since the dragon is slow as fuck, just have it close enough to where like he has his mouth wide open. The
And he's covered in and he's
the
covered
the
in
the
slime.
bantha's fucked, and then just jetpack away, and then just blow it up. But I guess
Look, lab meat's back on the menu, boys.
they're doing the typical trope, I guess.
I mean, that's a lot of fucking meat. No point in letting it go to waste, especially on a planet like Tatooine.
Baby Yoda's got his own steak.
And he just takes a chunk of it with him.
Baby Yoda's got his own big ass steak. And now he's got Boba Fett's gonna come after him and get his armor back. The real Boba Fett, not this guy.
What did that guy say about the armor? Oh, it's
Oh,
the
there's the
it's the Krayt Dragon Pearl. That's a cool
that's
thing because that was a thing in the old canon, so it's cool they brought that back.
nice.
In KOTOR, actually, after you killed the Krayt Dragon, you could actually use the Krayt Pearl as part of your lightsaber. That was before they retconned it, so only kyber crystals could generate lightsaber blades.
Oh look, there's the twin sons.
Yeah.
Oh, that him? Yep, there he is.
Did they get the same actor
With
from the
that,
original? Did they get
yeah,
the same actor from the prequels to play Boba?
yeah, that's Tamara Morrison. That's the guy who
Damn.
played the guy who played Jango Fett
And
in
and all the
attack.
clones too.
Yeah, in the prequels. Yeah, he's
Wow,
Boba
he's
Fett.
been in Star Wars for a while. It was like he's done. Obviously, he did the prequel movies, but he also did a lot of voice acting for a lot of the Star Wars video games too, which is really neat. So this guy's been involved in the franchise for a while.
Yeah. Talk about dedication.
Hmm.
um
But yeah, so I guess
I
that's episode one. What do you
I
think, Grant?
I enjoyed it. That was
Yeah,
it was sort of like a monster of the week kind of fillerish episode, but well, no, not really, cuz I mean it had some of the filler-ish elements that season 1 had, where it was like you meet up with one group, you have a problem, and then it's solved by the end of the episode and you go away. But at least this one, not only one was it like a lot more exciting, but also it was
like
like
like you said, monster a
I
week, but this
I
time it's an
cared to
actual fucking monster.
that and
Like that thing would not look out of place in a Godzilla movie.
at least this time, like, I actually liked the person who Mando was like friends with, the guy who had the Boba Fett armor. I
The
actually
sheriff or whatever.
Yeah, I actually kind of liked him.
Yeah,
Uh and at least they were starting to set up the obvious Boba Fett stuff, you know.
yeah,
So it wasn't like a waste, you know.
no.
Like
I mean,
half
I mean,
of the
I mean, you
episodes
said
last
fillery,
season
but
were.
yeah, I mean, well, when it comes to last season, I think part of it is it was the first season, so I'm sure it was trying to set up a lot of plot elements for later on. And B, like you said, this harkens back to a lot of the old school westerns. And the thing about a lot of old western TV shows that they were very episodic, villain of the week esque kind of formula
The only
that didn't necessarily have continuity. So I feel like it's kind of written like that on purpose to kind of harken back to the time when that type of storytelling was common in TV shows, especially in westerns.
Yeah,
I mean, whether or not you like
the
it is up to
only
you, but I
yeah,
think
I
that's kind of
mean,
why it's written the way it is.
I'm not really a fan personally. The only Because here's the thing, like you said, they might have been setting up plot lines for later. I think every single one is gonna be completely forgotten about, except for maybe the one like where he defended that village, because maybe like that widow that he met might like be a future love interest for him or something. That's
maybe.
that's that's the only one though. I think they're gonna completely forget about the whole uh group of bounty hunters that he had just left at that prison. I think the whole show's gonna completely forget about them, and I think
Yeah, I could see that.
uh well, in episode 5, the terrible one, I mean, both of the characters from that one die at the end, so they're obviously not coming back.
Mhm. What was it that you wanted to talk about after the episode?
Oh, yes. There's a lot of characters that are both rumored slash confirmed for this season,
Okay.
and
What are the ones that are
I'm
circulating
not.
around? I've heard of a couple of them.
I'm
Obviously Boba Fett, but who else
Boba
did they
Fett,
say?
yeah. I mean, I don't. A lot of people in the Star Wars fan community want to see Boba Fett back. I
I mean,
don't
fair enough.
because,
He, even though he's
like,
not much of a character, he is one of the more iconic looking characters in the franchise, you know. So
yeah. I mean, I don't care about Boba Fett. I really don't care to see him back. Like, I was perfectly fine with the way VOT handled him.
you were fine
He,
with the Mando we got.
Yeah, because he never was a character to begin with, so
He
I
was
didn't
just a
really
cool looking
care.
guy in the background, which,
Yeah,
you know,
so I never really cared that his death was like kind of lame,
mhm.
because it's like he's not a character I ever cared about. So
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, I mean, to be fair, it was because of that non-character that we get all the cool Mandalorian stuff we have gotten in the lore. But that doesn't change the fact that Boba Fett himself doesn't really have a character. That
yeah.
being said, though, because he's
If
basically a clean slate, they can take him in whatever direction they want to. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I will
they
say
really don't, they really can't ruin his character in this
no.
season unless they make him a pussy, which I'd highly doubt they would.
I
So we'll
don't
see.
think they're gonna.
Then again, they didn't make Luke a
So
pussy, so
since they
we'll
are
see.
bringing him back, I will say make not only one make him a badass, but second make it worth our time, like actually give him a character, like give him
Right.
some depth and some development. And
Because like we talked about earlier, like Boba Fett's not a true Mandalorian. He has the armor, the
yeah,
weapons, and the martial training, but he doesn't have the same uh, belief system that the Mandos follow. So maybe that can be cause of some conflict between him and Mando later on.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
I
if he's
want
like trying to convince us like, hey, I'm getting the Mandalorian itself so I can help find this child of Pope. It's like I don't give a shit. I want my armor back. I just want my armor back.
I hope he's actually integral to the story, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. Maybe he can be some like partial mentor figure to Mando. Because even though he's not a true Mandalorian, he is a legendary bounty hunter with years of experience, fighting everything from smugglers to even some Jedi. So,
Hmm.
I do think there's a lot Boba could teach Mando, uh, and so I don't know. Like the dynamics there. It's just what direction they want to go with it. It's what we got to see. That
Yeah.
being said, I hope Boba Fett kicks Mando's ass just a little bit.
Hmm.
You know,
That'd be cool.
because yeah, because I don't know. If I were writing Boba, I would very much make him the badass old man type of character. It's like, you may be a Mandalorian, but I'm Boba Fett. You know,
Boba fucking Fett, man.
exactly.
Yeah, I have also heard about. I think it's all but confirmed that Ahsoka is coming back
Okay, I did hear
for this
about that.
season.
Yeah.
I,
What actress did they get to play her? Do we
Rosario
know that?
Dawson.
Okay. What other stuff has she done?
She was what's her name from Daredevil? The
Electra?
No, the chick who helps Matt and who's like his girlfriend for the first season.
The blonde chick?
No, not Karen.
Not
Um,
Karen.
uh,
Not Karen and not Electra. I don't know what other.
the nurse who was like dating him for a little.
Oh, okay. Okay, the nurse character. Okay.
I forget her name. What's her name
I can't
from the show?
I can't think of it on the top of my head either. Uh, I can look it up real quick. But okay, I can see that being a good fit for Ahsoka. I'd
I
have to get used to the fact that it's a different voice, but
I have no doubt she'll do a good job playing her. I just I don't know. I'm not sure about bringing all these characters in because it's like I kind of wanted Mando to just be his own thing.
well, I mean, I can at least see Boba Fett making sense because he's
Yeah,
the OG Mandalorian,
right.
at least in terms of production release. Um, he's a character that's recognized from the movies, so most Star Wars fans at least know who he is. And again, he doesn't really have much of a character. So you can basically take him in any direction and it not worrying about it ruining him.
Right. And was Ahsoka, she has
Uh,
established characters,
and
but
that yeah, well, so they announced Ahsoka. Who else did they announce?
um I'm not sure if these were technically announced yet, but I also heard Captain Rex, uh Ezra, and Sabine from Rebels.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
See
not
that
sure
right
about
there
bringing
is
all these characters back.
Originally that's a problem because all these characters were from the previous animated shows, and that most people haven't really watched.
Except for Clone
So
Wars.
no, I'm talking about Clone Wars and Rebels are the two anime shows I'm talking about.
I
So
I think a pretty good number of people have seen Clone Wars. I don't.
I mean, like some younger fans, like people who are around our age, have probably seen it, but there are Star Wars fans even older than us, and chances are they haven't seen those shows, so they'd have to find a way to reintroduce those characters without it coming off as clunky. So that's already kind of a problem. And the other thing is, I do agree with you that even though I like Star Wars as a connected universe, I feel like part of the charm of Mando is that it is kind of its own thing, that it doesn't have
Yeah,
to be tied into other stories necessarily. And the problem with that is that it's it's like so the problem I feel like that in that Mandalorian season 2 may have the same problem that the later seasons of Star Wars Rebels had, where they introduced Ahsoka or reach Ahsoka, Maul, Rex, and kind of like piggyback a Clone Wars continuation on top of Rebels, and it kind of took away from what the main cast was doing, and which is kind of a problem. That's not very good storytelling. To kind of have a pseudo sequel in the middle of a otherwise unrelated show, and it sounds like they're doing the same thing here with Mando season 2, which is a problem,
yeah, and
especially when most people may or may not have seen those shows that the characters are from, so they may not fully understand what, like, if the arcs of these characters are connected to what happened in their shows, then and the audience doesn't know didn't watch that show, then that kind of leaves some holes to fill in.
yeah, and I also just kind of don't really care about Sabine or Ezra, so it's just like, why are you bringing them back?
Yeah, I mean, Sabine's a Mandalorian. She was a former owner of the dark saber.
Oh, and
Rex,
Bo-Katan.
who?
Bo-Katan. She was in Clone Wars and Rebels, and
Oh, right, she was
she
the
she was
sister of
the
Sabine, right?
no, not Sabine. She was Duchess Satine's sister.
Satine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant Satine. They have very similar names.
Yeah,
Um,
they do have similar names, yes. But she was the last person who had the dark saber, so that means that
Before Gus got it.
Moff Gideon or Gus Fring, yeah.
I don't care
he
what his name is.
either
I'm calling him
he
Gus.
he either like fought and took it from her, or the appearances of Bo-Katan are gonna be in flashbacks and he killed her.
Kills her in the
It
flashback. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be one or the other. Either he killed her in a flashback and that's where she's gonna show up, or she's still alive and she just lost it to him.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it does make sense because both Sabine and Bo-Katan are Mandalorians. They both are former owners of the dark saber.
I have
Captain
a
Rex is
feeling
a,
that
is a clo- is Captain Rex is a clone of Jango, just like Boba. So, I mean, there are connections here that can be traced back to Mando and Boba. So,
I have a feeling
so
that
there can
Moff
there can be
Gideon.
there can be something done here. It's just I mean, look, if this was a novel series instead of three separate TV series that they're trying to connect, two of which are from different mediums than the third one, um, then I can see it working a lot better. But because we're taking characters from two animated shows and connecting them to a live action show that most people haven't seen all three of them, like there, that's a it's a pretty big assumption that the majority of Star Wars fans would have seen all three shows and already recognize these characters. Because again, most people don't even realize that there was a universe that got retconned when Disney got the reins to Star Wars. So to
Yeah.
it's a lot to put on the fans to know beforehand, which it's a bit of a problem.
Well, I agree, but I also think that I think Moff Gideon is gonna have some kind of history with the Mandalorians, like with
Yeah.
there's gonna be some kind of history with him and Mando, but also like I feel like he's gonna be tied to like the Death Watch in some way.
Yeah, like
Like
like if making predictions right now, Gideon was probably one of the people that led the Mandalorian purge. Like what we know from Rebels, what
yeah,
happened was after the Empire took over, a lot of Mandalorians ended up working for the Empire as basically stormtroopers. And I imagine the situation would be that they went to the Death Watch and all the whatnot and say, "Okay, we're the Empire. We're in charge now. Either you come work for us, or you all die." And the
yeah,
people who chose to join the empire joined the empire, and the people who refused were the victims of the purge. So
yeah.
that's what I'm guessing it is
I
because
think
I
you're
don't know what
right. Yeah,
else.
he's gonna be the one who led the purge of the Mandalorians.
Yeah,
I bet.
which makes sense because the Mandalorians, even because like the Mandal obviously like is established in Clone Wars that the majority of planet ended up kind of getting rid of their warrior history and embracing this pacifism culture, but still like the Mandalorians who are trained to be warriors are really good warriors, and that was something that either the Empire would want as an asset or want to be rid of so they're not a problem. So
It'd be kind of cool if he
uh,
was actually tied to the Mandalorians or the Death Watch. So like he
I mean,
it was like
I
it'd
mean,
be
I'm
cool
sure
if it
that
was
that would be
someone
the
that they
explanation why he had the
knew.
dark
Like
saber.
it'd be cool if it was like someone who they all knew was the one who's like killing them. Kind of like Anakin with the Jedi, you know?
Hmm.
That'd
I
be
mean,
kinda
I'm
cool.
I mean, I'm assuming that's how he got the lightsaber that Bo-Katan's and her Death Watch try to resist, and Gideon is like, "Well, I'm just gonna send a whole armada of Star Destroyers to fuck you up," and then killed her and took the dark saber as a trophy. For those who don't know, the dark saber
Interesting.
is also a big Mandalorian thing. It was built by the first Mandalorian Jedi, and it's a big deal, not to all Mandalorians, but especially the Vizsla clan, which Sabine and Bo-Katan are from. It's kind of a symbol of leadership,
Yeah. Well,
so it's a big
obviously
deal.
now not only is Boba coming this season, but I think the only one that's like the strongest in terms of confirmation is Ahsoka. I think everyone else, like Sabine and Ezra, they're kind of up in the air. It's like they might be there, they might not. So
Uh,
we'll have to see on that. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this one doesn't show up, but Thrawn has been said they might that he might be in there, and I really hope he's not.
I don't. I mean, I mentioned okay. So like earlier, I mentioned reasons of why some of these other characters would have a reason to appear in this show because they do have connections. They do have Mandalorian connections, but I feel like bringing in Thrawn would just be redundant because you already have Moff Gideon, who is
Mm-hmm.
functionally the same character in terms
Yes.
of the role he plays. So I don't know. And plus, like like I think Ezra got rumored too. Both Ezra and Thrawn kind of ended up in the middle of nowhere by the end of Rebels. So like I
We
don't
don't
know.
even know what happened to him.
They would kind of have to explain where the fuck they went and how they got back if they introduced these two. I don't know. Like maybe if like they kill Gideon in the end of season 2 and they set up Thrawn to be the main protagonist of season 3. Maybe, because that way they'd give more time to focus on Thrawn instead of trying to cramming him in there with everyone else they're bringing in for season 2.
I'd
Um,
rather just have Moff Gideon be the villain of this series. I
like,
don't
yeah,
want
like flat
I
out, I don't want him back.
yeah, I don't want Thrawn
I
to
didn't
come
want him to bring them back from old canon in the first place
Yeah.
because they butcher his character and
Oh yeah, they
uh,
completely butchered him in Rebels. He's not.
they, yeah. I mean, his. I read a little bit of the Tarkin novel that came out a few years ago, and that was all right. But Tarkin is very much a kind of a Legends character through and through, and yeah, I feel like he just doesn't belong in the current canon. He just, I don't know. They tried to adjust him to fit him in this new continuity, but at least in my eyes, it doesn't quite work.
I can see them bringing Ahsoka back because someone's gonna have to teach Baby Yoda about the
Trained Baby
Force.
Yoda,
But
Ahsoka has history with the Mandalorians before. She's fought Death Watch a few times.
well,
Um,
but then again, that brings into the question if high profile people like Ahsoka are showing up, then why wouldn't Luke be there? That's because like she's a Force user and Luke is like the most powerful Jedi right now. So why wouldn't he one know about this, but two like why wouldn't he be showing up?
I mean, again, I mean, they already fucked up the whole New Jedi Order in this continuity already. But if I were the one writing it, Ahsoka would be helping Luke training the new Jedi, because
Well, yeah, because why wouldn't
that would be
she?
both their priorities. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah,
And
like
plus, seeing Luke and
why
Ahsoka,
wouldn't Luke and Ahsoka be together?
yeah, and seeing like Luke and Ahsoka interacting would have been really cool. And like Luke asking about how he knew his father and like what he was like before he became Vader.
Yeah, because she.
You know, Ahsoka was his apprentice, so
Yeah, that could have been an
they had a very strong.
interesting dynamic.
Yeah,
Could have been
but
cool.
that's never gonna happen. So
Yeah.
so,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
it's never gonna
Thanks,
happen.
thanks, Ryan Johnson. Thanks a lot.
I
Ugh,
just, I,
just another
it, it
movie.
just brings that into question because it's like realistically speaking, Luke should like if Ahsoka is training Baby Yoda and all this activity is going on, Luke would definitely know about this.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, Ahsoka is probably the most experienced Jedi alive. Like, she should be around Jedi Master level at this point, just by the sheer fact of all the shit she's survived through.
how how long she's been
Yeah.
alive.
I mean, Luke's the most powerful Jedi in terms of potential, but at this point, he's still more around Jedi Knight, early
Yeah,
Jedi Master level. But
he
Ahsoka would be full on Master at this point.
he's not master level until like the sequels.
Well, he's never reached Master level, unfortunately. He was kind of robbed of that chance to really show that off, but that's a tangent for another time. The
Yeah.
point is, it's like I don't know, and plus the fact that Ahsoka would be so much more powerful than any other character that would show up. You know, she would have the Superman issue of like who could touch her. Like Mando and Boba couldn't beat her, so
Well,
it's
I
like
don't think Mando would be against her. I think he'd be
no,
working with
but
her.
but you get what I'm saying. Like like making a scaling list of the most badass fighters in Mandalorian so far. If they brought in Ahsoka, she'd be on the top by a long shot. It's like
Well, it's not
what like
possible. I mean, Jango Fett killed. has killed Jedi before.
Yeah, but Django can. But is it they? I know like Mandalorians are bad enough to compete with some lower level Jedi, but there's no way they could like after all Ahsoka's been through, and the fact that she's fought Mandalorians before. It's
Oh,
like
I agree. Yeah.
Ahsoka specifically, they cannot beat. They cannot beat Ahsoka.
I don't know
It's
if Boba's necessarily going to be going up against Ahsoka. I
no,
think
but
he'll
I'm just saying it's like whatever villain they could possibly come out of, unless unless it's like an Inquisitor or something. But even then, if they bring in an Inquisitor, they'd have no chance because Ahsoka made the Inquisitors and Rebels look like little bitches. So, uh,
I
y-
also don't really care
like
to
you're seeing the
see
problem here. Like
Ahsoka again because
if Ahsoka is evolved in any fight ever,
her
there's no need to worry because no one could beat her.
well the other thing is Ahsoka's ending in Clone Wars from earlier this year is so perfect. So it's just like I don't like you've done everything you can with this character at this point. Like I was so satisfied with her ending in Clone Wars, so I'm just like, why are you bringing her back? I
Yeah, like I would, if not let the character rest, not bring her back here. Like maybe in a novel or a hypothetical another animated show, whatever that may be. I'm not saying I want one, but like if you were bring her back, I'd bring her back there as opposed to a live action show about a group of characters that really have nothing to do with the Jedi and Sith. So
yeah.
like I don't know, like Baby Yoda aside, it's like, it's a bit unnecessary. Like again, I can see Boba. As much as I don't like it, I can see like Sabine and all that and Rex, but not Ahsoka.
Well, I could see Ahsoka more than I could Sabine, but I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
just
Sabine has
I'm just thinking like if you're gonna bring them back, just not only one they should be integral, but two like make it worthwhile. Like actually do something with them. Don't just have them be in there just because fan service, which
like I said,
is what I'm worried
Sabine
they're gonna do.
beat a Mandalorian and she wielded the dark saber for a time. She has more connections going on in the story than Ahsoka does.
Sabine, yeah,
Yeah, like she's from the Vizsla clan, which is kind of what the dark saber is kind of surrounded by. So, uh, it's
yeah,
I don't know. It's like I can see her coming back before, so I don't know. I don't We'll just see how they handle it.
yeah. I just hope they don't mess it up. And you can understand why I'm skeptical based on how Disney's handled it in the past, you know?
Right.
So you can
I mean,
understand my
the
skepticism.
people behind the real people behind the reasons why the sequel trilogy flopped so hard are not evolved in this series in the slightest, nor would Disney let them, considering that this is the thing that's worked, and those were the things that didn't work. So I'm not worried about it flopping as bad as say the Rise of Skywalker. I think it is. I think they're moving they're going too big too quickly. It's like I feel like if they wanted to set this up, if like they introduce these characters throughout multiple seasons, maybe that'd be a little better. But the fact they're introducing all of these lore important characters all in just the second season seems a bit like they're going too fast.
Yeah,
And again, it
just
doesn't seem
worried about.
we didn't see the problem in this episode, but again, that's just this episode. We'll see how they handle it
Yeah,
later.
I'm worried about the rest of it. But
Oh, also, Grant, real
let's
quick,
just hope it's good.
the character from Daredevil, her name is Claire.
Claire, okay. Yeah,
In the comic book,
she's
she's
supposed to
called.
be Ahsoka.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I
Curious
could
to see
too.
how they do the makeup.
Yeah. Honestly, if they I will be very impressed if they can make a live action Ahsoka look similar to how she did in the animated series.
I
That'd
mean,
be
we've seen
that'd be
Shirta's
impressive.
before, like if you've seen Shakti in the prequels, she's basically just that but orange. So it can be done.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
can
glad
be done. Yes.
if they are doing it. I'm glad they're doing it now when they have a lot more budget up in the makeups department than they did in season one. Because
Yeah.
season one, I mean, like the Mando outfit looks good. Like it has good, like it has its good parts, but it was inconsistent. It
Yeah.
had some rough parts. So again, we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out.
Yeah. Until next week, let's just hope it's good. It's what else can you do?